June 6, 1944, Normandy, France. The D-Day landings. Amid the thunder of artillery and the chaos of the invasion, American soldiers capture an enemy combatant in a German uniform. But when they take off his helmet, they stop. The man before them isn't German. He isn't even European. He's Korean. His name was Yang Kyoungjong, and his journey through World War II is one of the most unbelievable stories you will ever hear. So how did a Korean man end up in a German bunker on the coast of France? To understand, we have to go back 6 years, to 1938. Yang was just 18 years old, living in Manchuria, a region of China then occupied by Japan. Like so many others, he was forcibly conscripted into the Imperial Japanese Army. His first taste of war was at the Battle of Khalkhin, a brutal border conflict between Japan and the Soviet Union fought on the scorching plains of Mongolia. After months of hellish fighting, the Japanese lines were broken, and Yang was captured by the Soviets. His time as a prisoner of the Japanese was over. His time as a prisoner of the Soviets had just begun. Yang was sent to a gulag, one of the infamous Soviet labor camps where cold, starvation, and brutal work were a death sentence for millions. But history had other plans for him. In 1941, Germany invaded the Soviet Union, desperate for soldiers. Stalin's regime began forcing prisoners into the Red Army. The choice was simple: fight for the Soviets or perish in the camp. So, Yang Kyoungjong, the man who had fought against the Soviets, now found himself wearing their uniform. Thrown into the meat grinder of the Eastern Front, his service in the Red Army was short-lived. 1943, during the Third Battle of Kharkov in Ukraine, he was captured yet again. This time, by the Germans. By this stage of the war, the German army was also stretched thin and desperate for manpower. They created what were known as Hospitalion, or Eastern Battalions, filled with conscripted soldiers from the territories they had overrun, including Soviet prisoners of war. Once more, Yang was stripped of one uniform and forced into another. He was now a soldier in the German Wehrmacht. Having already been sent from Asia to the heart of Russia, he was now transferred thousands of miles west, to the coast of France, to help defend Hitler's Atlantic Wall from an invasion he knew was coming. Can you even begin to imagine what must have been going through his mind? A Korean man, torn from his home by the Japanese, captured by the Soviets, captured again by the Germans, now standing on a beach in Normandy, waiting for the Americans and the British. He was a pawn in a global conflict, a man without a country or a cause, just trying to survive the next sunrise. On D-Day, as the Allied Armada appeared on the horizon, Yang was caught in the middle of the largest amphibious invasion in history. His unit quickly collapsed under the overwhelming assault, and he was captured by American paratroopers. The Americans were baffled. They couldn't understand how a man who looked Asian was fighting for Germany. They thought he was Japanese in a German uniform. The story was so bizarre, so incomprehensible, that for a time, no one knew what to make of him. After his capture, Yang was sent to a prisoner of war camp in Britain, where he remained until the war ended. His long, nightmarish journey was finally over. After the war, he was granted his freedom. He chose not to return to a Korea divided by new conflicts, but instead emigrated to the United States. He settled in Illinois, got married, and lived a quiet, ordinary life until his death in 1992. He never wrote a memoir. He never gave interviews. He never sought fame or recognition for the incredible odyssey he had endured. He carried the weight of his story in silence. Yang Kyoungjong's journey reminds us that behind the grand strategies and famous battles, war is a deeply personal tragedy. For countless individuals like him, it wasn't about patriotism or ideology. It was about survival. A story of one man, forced to wear the uniforms of 3 armies, caught in the crossfire of a world gone mad. If you found this story as incredible as I did, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more forgotten tales from history. Thank you for watching.